Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we discuss the issues of the underserved and the LGBTQ communities and how to solve them. Tonight, we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Terry Lee that's going to be with us. Mr. Lee was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but currently resides in Dallas, Texas. I've always had a passion for interior design and decorating, but I realized that I love to create high end walls design. So I transitioned into the decorative painting side and created T. Lee House of Walls and Design. I offer high end decorative wall techniques to create unique styles for your walls to enhance the beauty of your room in any space. As I specialize in interior painting, Venetian plaster, stencils, textures, batten board, and custom canvas wall art. Okay, like Mr. Lee is having some difficulties. Mr.
Hey,
Lee?
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can't see you.
Okay. Hold on. Let me integrated webcam standard. Let me see. Video. What about now?
No, sir. It's just pitch black.
um,
Did you? There's something covering your camera?
um, hold on. Let me. Okay, there.
There you go.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Can you see me?
Yes, we see
I
you.
apologize about the darkness, the dimness.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to your bio that I just read?
No, you actually you summed it up. And I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, sir, not a problem. And want to thank you first and foremost because being a creator means a lot to those for the communities that we target, and I definitely am looking forward to people getting some knowledge from the things that you do.
Okay, perfect.
So can you start out by telling us what inspired you to pursue a career in decorative painting?
So, as my bio states, I've always had a passion for it, but never really acted on it. When I had my apartments when I was a kid, or when I moved into my house, I've always liked to put colors together, mix textures, from decorative pillows, and just mixing patterns and those kind of things. But never really acted on it. When my friends would come over to my home, my family, and they're like, "Oh my God, you have such a great place. Your place is beautiful. Did you hire an interior designer?" And I'm like, "Nah, I did everything myself." But what really really sparked it was I wound up losing my job, my good job, as people say, and good corporate job. And once I lost that job, I said, you know what? Of course, I was looking for another job, but I said, you know what? I don't ever want to be in a situation, like I was in, because I didn't have a plan. Once I was let go, I did not have a plan. I thought that my that job would be my retirement plan. I didn't have time to do anything else, also except work. Come home. And so while I was looking for work, got bored, around the house and everything, and I started doing things around the house with wall design, with the batten board. And if you don't know what batten board is, to everybody, it's just you see it is very very popular right now. It's just the wood paneling, and people do different designs and everything, and they make beautiful designs. And so I did that on a wall just to play around with it, and it actually turned out pretty nice. And so several of my friends and family, I showed them, and they said, you know what, that's what you should be doing. You should be doing that. And when I did it, it was just so just inspiring. It was just, it didn't seem like work, although it is work, but it didn't seem like work. I had fun doing it. It was just so therapeutic for me. And with all that being said, that's when I launched my decorative painting business, Tealy House of Walls and Design. So I wanted to take it a step further, not just do batten board. I wanted to do different things. I wanted to do textures, because I told you earlier I love to play around with textures and mix patterns and those kind of things. And so I wanted to do something different, something where you don't see a whole lot of people that they don't have those kind of things that I do. And so I actually stumbled on social media, and I swear when you're talking, these phones, they're listening to everything what you're saying. And so something popped up, on my Instagram feed, and it was a lady. Her name is Toby Sanders. She's actually a decorative painter in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and I loved the things that she did. She did like the texture. She did like it's a pretty cool crocodile pattern. It's like glass beads where it looks like glass is on your walls, diamonds is on your walls, different things like that. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Let me check this lady out. So I started looking at her stuff and everything, and so I was very impressed, and come to find out she offered classes. So with me being unemployed, and this is where, you just got to step out there. When you're, even if you're in a bad situation, you don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes you just got to, step out there, invest in yourself. And I struggled with that or whatever. And a lot of people do, especially people of color. We don't take the time, we don't invest in ourselves. We invest in everybody else but ourselves.
Mhm.
So I tapped into my 401k, and her class was it was pretty costly. It was up there, but I wound up taking her class. I flew to Atlanta, and took her class, and that's when I started, like really really honing in and being very very creative with the couple of the techniques that she showed me and she trained me on, and then I added my spin to it. And so that's how it came about, and that's what I'm doing now.
Oh, wow. So just in that whole process, when you started to do, the decorative walls where you're doing the painting and so forth, were you like just doing walls just to see the work that you could do? Or were you also out there looking to get clients and see how you could build and expand on what you were doing?
Actually, both. I initially, because I knew I wanted to make it a business, so I definitely started just doing walls, for people, because when people paying their money, you got to know what you're doing, you know, and so I didn't want to just, although I was trained on these cool techniques, I still didn't do it on the wall. So what I would do, I would actually practice on my walls,
Mhm.
and they came out very nicely, very, very nicely, beautiful. And I was like, you know what? Okay, now I can go out and tap into the community and tell people, hey, this is what I do, at this cost or whatever. That's one thing that you don't do whenever you're, especially something like that. You don't want to experiment on someone else's property. You want to make sure that you got it down first. And when you do that, that makes a difference, and that builds up your confidence. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh, wow. See, that's a lot of good stuff, and, I'm really proud and happy that you're actually taking strides, because 'cause I'm sure 25 is gonna be a big year for you.
Oh, I'm speaking that in existence. Thank you. I received
And
it.
can you describe your artistic style and how it was evolved over the years?
So my artistic style, it actually is more. Um, I love contemporary stuff. It's just how just pushing the envelope with contemporary. A lot of things, you do push the envelope on contemporary, and I just love that design style. But the good thing about design styles, you're able to add others as well, like, modern, contemporary modern. You can actually mix traditional, with contemporary as well. It's like you can do so much. And that's what I love about what I do. You can mix all kind of stuff together. So when that, how I started and really realized what I like, I didn't when I was younger, I just knew I liked nice things, you know. I didn't pay attention to the different styles and, traditional versus modern, or contemporary or, that kind of thing, or minimalist. I didn't pay attention to those things. I just liked what I liked. And it just happened to turn out really nicely.
Wow. Well, you know something, I don't think that's just by chance. That's because you knew exactly what it was that you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it.
Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
just up to anybody else that sees it, how do they accept it?
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the most memorable projects you've worked on?
So far, it's actually 2 of them. I love how I was pulled in was, doing this crocodile style, um, pattern. That's what I saw when my mentor, I saw hers, and so I actually did that, and it came out very, very nicely. The client loved it, and actually with that, I actually got like 2 more jobs from that client when once I was finished with the wall. And when you do different things like that, a lot of times when people are not used to faux design and um, faux decorating and those kind of things, and I'll explain that in a minute. They're taking a chance on you. Is something that they're not familiar with, and so a lot of times they will be a little skeptical or have that slight fear, and it's up to you to show them, and show them, hey, look, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna make sure that your walls are taken care of properly. So yeah. And so
So,
also, faux design is pretty much taking something that's expensive, an expensive technique, such as, for example, like marble. Marble is very, very can be very expensive. You can take that, and I can use different products, and I can put that on a wall and make it look like marble.
so, um, and just in that whole process, especially thinking about with the marble and so forth, have you started using that in your designs, or is that something that you just playing around with?
No, I was trained on that. So I put all of those things in my designs. Even like I said, the crocodile pattern, it looks just like crocodile skin. A lot of times, if any kind of snake skin or crocodile skin or whatever. A lot of those things can be very expensive, but I can put it on the wall and make it look like $1 million and make it look like it's actual skin or leather on your wall.
Wow. Now, see that in itself. Now, I would love to see something like that because that's got to be very unique, but got to
Hmm.
be very stylish and chic.
Hmm. And it really is.
So, how do you approach a new painting project from concept to completion?
So whenever a lot of times, clients they'll reach out to me via social media. They've seen some of the things that I've done on social media or something like that, and so they'll pretty much have an idea in their mind of what they want. So or I've done also where people just want a wall painted, and so when the wall I'll accept the consultation. I'll book every client, to get a consultation. So when I do a consultation for a client, they might want that wall like a plain, gold wall or maybe a navy wall done. And I will show them. I have sample pieces that I show my clients, every client. And chances are, before that consultation is over, by the end of that consultation, they're going to pick one of my designs.
Okay.
And that's when I do that, and we do pricing and all of that stuff or whatever. But yeah.
So normally, does your process itself, that is, from the work that you do, are there some things that go into getting this situated, to adding things, and then you move down the line, or what else goes into that actual process that that people in the audience need to understand as to how your work goes, and the in depthness of what you're doing?
It's truly in depth. You have to people you can't just rush it, you know. And everything I do, it's steps. So a lot of the things that I do, it's typically like a 2 day to 3 day process, depending on the square footage. It might be 4 days or longer, just depending. So with that being said, you have to be intricate. I mix chemicals together. You can't add too much. You can't add too little. It has to be like that just right mixture. If it's not, then it's not going to come out correctly. So um, and then it has to fully dry. 24 hours. Then I move to the next step, and I have to get that mixture, together. And it can't be too much. Like I said, it can't be too little. It has to be just right. And it's just with experience. You literally, when I first started, I had to literally like measure things, and sometimes I still do. But if I'm doing something for a long time, I already know, okay, well, this mixture, this is what I know how to do. But you have to mix it right. Yeah. And it's a
So,
lot of stuff that goes into, it's no rush or anything. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
because that's a great lead in for my next question, which is, what techniques or materials do you prefer to use in your decorative painting?
Definitely, what's called a trial. It's, when you see it's a trial, it has a handle on it and it has a flat metal, kind of like a scraper, and then you take the material and you just scrape it on the wall,
Oh,
and when you do that, that adds a different, um, like a different class. It puts you in a different league. That's high end, when you're doing stuff like that. That's where the Venetian plaster comes in at. That's a really, really classy, upscale, high end look. But a lot of the techniques I use my trial to get the
well,
look that I'm
so
looking
you
for.
and so you use plaster as well.
Mhm.
So basically, how does that go? Is that like something that's like a binder, or do you put it on the wall and you paint it? How does that work?
So it can work in many ways. It's really more of a you're mixing. A lot of the plasters, you have to mix and get the desired color that you want. Some of them are already pre-mixed, but you have to look at it. When you get it pre-mixed, you might have to water it down a little bit because sometimes it can be extremely too thick. And if it's too thick, then it's not going to come out right on the wall and it'll be difficult to work with. And so you have to get that right mixture. And when you get that right mixture, everything is easy and it flows a lot better.
Wow. So how do you stay motivated and inspired in your artistic work?
Um, I stay motivated when I see the finished product of each job. They come out beautifully. It's really really nice and beautiful. A lot of the things that I've done, actually everything that I've done so far. And so when my clients, um, they tell me, and I see their faces when I do the big reveal, and I see their faces, and that motivates me. And then also it typically always works like this where I'll do one person and then that person will refer someone else, or someone will go come and visit their home, and then they'll say, oh, who did that wall? Oh my god, that wall is beautiful. And then they'll give them my information, and that keeps me busy. And I also offer a referral bonus to my clients as well. I offer a $200 referral bonus. So if you um, refer a client to me and they say, hey, Roger sent me or whatever, Roger's going to get $200 after the job is done and after they have paid.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No coins go out till they come in.
right, right.
Uh, can you share a challenging project you've worked on and how you overcame the obstacle?
My very first job, my cousin, she lives in Houston. I actually drove down to Houston from Dallas to do a batten board wall for her. I believe it or not, I never liked painting
Mhm.
until I started doing decorative painting. It's totally
Okay.
different. But just plain painting, I never did. So here in the Texas area, they have it's a like their walls. They're not flat walls like Atlanta, where you at or whatever. Their walls are flat. Well, Texas, they have it's a texture that they have on their walls, like an orange peel texture that they
Mhm.
have on the walls, and sometimes it's very thick. So with
Is
that
that
being
like I'm sorry, but you said is that like a Spanish kinda like, um, feature of some sort?
mm, mm,
Oh, okay.
it's just I don't know why certain areas do it. But they have this texture on all the walls here. And so with that being said, you have to paint a little different. You have to paint differently than you paint when you're painting on a wall with no texture, you know.
Mhm.
So being that her walls had texture, um, and it was my very first project, I did it going in green, and I'm so appreciated that I'm appreciative of her because she gave me a chance. I did the batten board, but the edges they bled into it wasn't straight lines on the edging part. That bled over onto like the other parts of the walls because I didn't know how to tape, correctly. I didn't know how to take the tape off. I knew how to paint. The product looked good in
Mhm.
regards to the design, but doing those finishing touches, making sure those lines are completely edged and laid out properly. I had to really really work at that and get that skill down. So thank god my cousin, she understood, and I wound up getting it corrected, but it took a little while, and so now I was really appreciative of that experience. And so that was a very very stressful moment for me because I wanted to do a great job for her. But those lines, she was like, "Ooh, cuz I don't like that." I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to how to correct it." And I did, so I learned that was a valuable lesson for me, you know.
Oh, wow. So, have you ever had difficulties with any of your other projects, that you had to work a little extra like that?
Mm-mm, no, sir. When you learn the foundation of painting and little tips and tricks and different things you can do, I hadn't had any issues. And if now I've had little things that have come up, but because of my knowledge on on painting and different things like that, I know how to correct those issues. You know, and the decorative painting and faux design, that's actually a little harder and more intricate than regular painting. Just getting if you just getting the color on the wall, that's very easy. That's extremely easy for me now, because everything else that I do, it's steps involved. You have to mix certain things, like I said earlier, correctly to get the desired look that you'll see on my post and Instagram page and Facebook, postings and stuff.
So, how do you balance creativity with the technical aspects of decorative painting?
It just flows for me. It's not. It's funny when you said, how do you balance? It just goes together for me. It just everything is just natural. Like when I, and that's the thing I like about what I do, because I can create, like I can, like the foundation. A lot of times somebody will say that, oh, I want this, what you did, on this post. I want that, I want this color or whatever. And then I'll take that as a baseline, and then we'll talk about colors, and we'll talk about, adding, something a little different to it to make it their own, you know.
So, what advice would you give to aspiring decorative painters?
The advice I would give them is, don't, even though everybody have natural skills, right? Whatever that is, natural, speaking abilities or just whatever, you always want to get a mentor or get someone to train you, get more knowledge. So I would say, if there's something that you really want to do, you want to educate yourself. You always want to educate yourself, because you know a lot of people on these posts, these social media posting or whatever, they'll make it look easy. They'll do like a before, and then they'll maybe show a few little things that they do, like working towards it, and then voila, the finished product. But trust me, that person that does like those, like the decorative designs that you see, or the batten board, trust me, it's a lot more in depth than just doing something real quick. You got to educate yourself to know what chemicals to mix with this, or you can do this or you can do that. You got to be educated on those things before you just branch out and want to do things on your own.
So, how has your work as a decorative painter influenced other areas of your life?
Oh, it's influenced a lot of areas of my life, because I'm now, with my last job, it was so stressful. It was so It was, oh my god, it was so stressful. It was like when you go into a situation and you just get like this, like butterflies, or not butterflies, just like this little, you know, funny feeling in your stomach, in the pit of your stomach. Every day, that's how I would walk into work. Like, oh my God, I just hope I have a good day today. I just hope nothing crazy doesn't happen. Those kind of things. It was very, very stressful. And so, with that being said, with me doing decorative painting, it's just so therapeutic for me. It even helps, believe it or not, it helps with my mental health. It's just, I don't know. When I'm painting, I'm in my zone. I listen to my music and I'm in my zone, and I just, I work at my own pace. I'm not rushed. I'm not pressured, to get that job done. And it's very therapeutic for me, and it does help out mentally as well, because it's something that I really, really like to do and love to do. And when you find, I heard somebody say this, and I'm like, you know what, that is true. When you find, let me see how it goes. When you find that thing that you really, really love to do, or your passion is you doing it, and it don't seem like work. and you enjoy it.
Well, see, I think the thing about it is it seems like you're a natural creator.
Hmm.
And so as a natural creator, and you've got this creative thing going through your mind, it's pretty much one of those things that I think pretty much you probably can visualize, see what you want to do, and you go and you do it. Maybe initially
I,
you may have a few struggles, but
mhm.
apparently, as that's one of the natural things about you. I mean, that's something that really, for some people, that's like a calling. And when you have that calling goes very, very high.
It does, but with that being said, and you are absolutely correct, but with that being said, you still want to continuously hone your skills, whatever that might be. Get some training, get some education on whatever you're wanting to do to make you better. Because especially in the design business, especially in decorative painting, something that it's always something new, you know, and you have to change. You can't, how in some businesses, um, there, and especially like maybe mom and pop businesses, a lot of times, well, not just mom and pop businesses, any business really. Some businesses, they don't want to change with their customer. You have to listen to your customer,
Mhm.
and you have to be flexible. You have to be adaptive. And so, with that being said, even though it comes natural for me, that it might be a new technique that everybody wants now. Like next year, trust me, it's going to be something else. It's going to be something else new, that the new thing. Well, guess what? I don't know how to do it. So in order for me to stay relevant, in order for me to get the clients, continue getting clients, I have to learn that skill. And so that's what I mean by just making sure you're honing in, and continuously educate yourself no matter what you're doing. So that's what I would do. Don't just go based on your skills. Just, it's great that, somebody, because it's a lot of people that just does things naturally, but you still have to make sure that you are continuously honing in on those skills and making yourself better.
Well, let me ask you this because I know this has got to be the $1,000,000 question. How does pricing goes for this? How much does this normally cost?
So it depends on the square footage. You know, it, it can be um, like some customers that I've been told, ooh, is that much? Ooh, that's expensive. Ooh, it's pretty though. I love what you're doing, but ooh, I don't know if I can afford that. And so, but people don't understand, is it takes a lot for that wall to look like it does. For what I do, the beauty and all, it takes a while. It takes a lot. And wear and tear on my body. Um, lifting different heavy things, and it's a lot. So with pricing, it's definitely based on the square footage. Um, and also the supplies. So each job is different. A lot of the supplies that I use are expensive,
Mm,
like, and what I mean by expensive, um, for a gallon of like metallic paint, because I use like metallic paints for everything. Metallic paints, it just so if anybody, get you some metallic paint and paint a wall. Now you can't just paint the wall. There's certain things you got to do or whatever. But when you paint that wall metallic, it just adds luxury to it. It just brings that wall to the next level. So with that being said, bless you. So with that being said, sometimes the color that I want of a metallic paint, that metallic paint might be $125 a gallon, you
right,
know?
right.
And so people would be like, "I spent $25 on a gallon of paint." Well, no, it's a different kind of paint, and some of the supplies that I use, it can be $150 for a gallon of it, So which with that being said, I have to charge accordingly, you
Right.
know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it can be a little, it can be a little costly, but the thing is, if it's something that you want and truly desire, you're gonna pay for it.
Yes, sir.
I
Almost
mean,
definitely.
yeah, you're gonna find a way to get it, and that's on that end. But at the same time, with the wear and tear, and it's really hard work. It's not hard for me, but and I love it. But it can be, depending on the project, can be hard work. So I have to be, compensated for my labor as well.
Almost definitely. Look, let me tell you, when it goes into when you talk about production, you're talking about creating, like doing the things that you do.
Right.
Um, I think what most of us would know is that when we go into situations like that, we know that we can't think that this is like one of those quick little things like you can go and pick up out the $5 and $10 store. We know that
Hmm.
that's not going to happen. Um, but let's pivot to your involvement in mental health.
Okay.
Can you tell us what motivated you to get involved in mental health advocacy?
Um, what motivated me was what I went through. You know, I was when I lost my job, I was devastated. You know, I didn't know I didn't have a plan. Like I said earlier, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the tools I just couldn't even think right. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because these bills, because you know how it goes, even though you might not have no money coming in, but them bills gonna continue coming no matter what. So you so you gotta figure out what you the bills don't stop. So so I had to, you know, pretty much, I started thinking, I was just thinking about, how can I get out of this funk? Because I was in a funk, for a while. Um, and I wound up finding a therapist, to help me navigate through a lot of the things that I was feeling. And a lot of times, with people of color, a lot of times we don't believe in therapy, or we just don't take it serious. But therapy is the way to go, because just even how I was raised, my mom did the best she could with what she had, with the knowledge that she had, you know. And my childhood, was, hey, something happens, suck it up, move, let's go, let's keep it going, let's go, you can get through this or whatever, just push through, you know. And yeah, I was taught to push through, but I wasn't given the tools to know how to push through,
True.
and just talking to someone, and giving and allowing them. And you have to be open with therapy too. You can't go in, what you already know what's going on. No, you have to be vulnerable, and not just be vulnerable. You have to do the work, because my therapist, I mean, she'll give me some homework, and you have to um, be able to understand and navigate through those things. But therapy helped me tremendously, because I wasn't really talking to anybody, about certain things. And it's really bad to I was really taught not I was taught unofficially to, like, hold things in. You don't know everybody. You don't want everybody to know your business. You know,
You don't want to be weak.
you don't want to be weak. You don't want to look weak, and you don't want nobody in your business. I already know my mom would always say, "Don't you take, don't be talking. You keep that to yourself. You don't want everybody to know your business." And throughout my life, that's how I navigated through life. I kept things in, and that was so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my therapist truly, truly helps me through navigate through a lot of those things, even couples therapy. Like if you have a significant other, y'all can go through therapy together to learn how to communicate with one another. Because just say if you're broken, if you are already broken, how you gonna have a successful relationship with somebody else, and you can't even navigate through your stuff. Now you
Mm.
got a whole person you got to deal with, here, and you got to, work together on some things, so therapy is very, very, very important.
So, I want to give you some kudos for actually, knowing that you needed some help in some shape, form, or fashion, and you felt like your mental was getting to a point that you needed to go and get that help. This is something that a lot of people, that's even those people that are out here looking, viewing the show tonight, is that for some strange reason you are so right about that thing of, that stigma in our community, that getting therapy is like this thing that just don't work because you just need to go to church and pray.
I've heard that. So just all you need is prayer. Just pray and look and go pray and go to bed. You know, I've heard it all. That's and my grandmother, and I know what you're like with grandmothers, especially grandmothers back then.
Yeah,
That's all it was. You pray, just talk to the Lord. You don't need to talk to nobody else. Talk to the Lord. And that's okay, of course, but you still need someone on this earth to be able to help you navigate it because doctors put people in place for those things.
right.
Um, God put doctors, God put therapists, God put to help us, and we have to start thinking like that. You know, because if God didn't put doctors on this earth, I mean, we wouldn't. I mean, the majority of the stuff, we couldn't have surgery for. We couldn't correct a lot of these things. So I mean, in my beliefs, God had to have done that. Give someone the tools to be able to do these things, and I feel like he put people on this earth to help us, and we have to take advantage of those things. And therapy is one of them.
Yes, sir. So, can you share any personal experiences that have shaped your views on mental health?
Yeah. Let's see. It was. I know with my job. How some jobs. What happened with my job or whatever? I had to work through all of those things because um, I was angry, you know, I didn't know what to do. So I had to learn how to, like I said, let those things out and don't hold those things in, and really, really talk about it and be vulnerable. It's okay for men to be vulnerable, you
Mhm.
know, and it's okay to shed a tear, because if you don't get those things out, that can affect other parts of your life, like, building relationships with other people, it can affect your friendships, it can affect your relationship with your significant other, and my therapist is really giving me a lot of those tools that I need so I can be able to navigate through. I used to be one that how people say what come up come out. I was
Mhm.
that person, and you have to. My therapist taught me, okay, you can't. You got to process everything that come out your mouth. You can't.
You'll be throwing them all over the place.
Yeah, think about what you're saying and don't react in anger. Because a lot of times we've been in situations, I know I have, where you've been in a heated discussion and you've said something and you like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That and just slipped out. No, you have to really, really be strategic and think about what you're saying. So that's one thing that has definitely helped me.
So, when you mention your therapist and you're talking about the tools that she gave you, for those that are listening, can you tell them what are some of those tools that were given to you and how they have helped you in your life?
I know one of them. She told me to make a list because I was really I wasn't happy with my life,
Mhm.
and so she told me, she said, okay, from the front of the paper, she said, you know, to just make a list of the pros of your life, the successes. What are you happy about? What accomplishment, it could be anything, and then also make a list of the negative some of the negative things that's happened, in my life, that kind of thing. And so she when I did that, I had so many pros. I had so many successes, way more than the parts where I felt defeated, or or and what some people say failed, or anything like that. So when I saw that list, and I'm like, oh dang, I have more of these accomplishments, more pros, more things than failures. And she said, see this right here, a lot of people have to see things written out, like black and white. So your life isn't that bad. You thinking you woe is me and all this stuff, but it's really not that bad. And so that was one thing that was pretty powerful for me, um, to really, really, kind of navigate through. And what I do now is, and she also told me to do, a vision, like a vision board, to help me stay on track, because I've always had, visions and thoughts of wanting to do certain things, but it was always in here,
Mhm. And you
but
didn't see it.
yeah, but you have to it's good that it's in here, but you literally have to put those things on paper. You have to put it on a wall, put it on a poster, whatever. And that way, when you see that every morning, you are reminded of, what, even if you're kind of backpedaling a little bit, or or you kind of, not, you kind of got off the path a little bit, then that will hold you accountable, to, like, what, I'm slipping. I got to get back. I got to get back on track.
Yes,
And it
sir.
really, really helps. Some people's like, oh, that's stupid. No, it's not. It's powerful. It's powerful. You know what your eyes, like, just how your eyes are connected to your brain, and how everything is processed. When you see that visually, it's something in your mind, like, ooh, it triggers something. Oh, I got to get back. Let me go ahead and do this. I got to get this. Seeing it is just seeing is believing. You know.
As you say that, I'll tell you this because I have a vision board as well. And for me, with all the projects I have going on, I have to see them like this. So when I see them on the wall, on my little board or on my big board, shall I say, I also have them in, you know, like like my memo book.
Hmm.
And so as I see them and I know that they have to get done and so forth, it keeps me going. But the one thing that I can say that's always important, and tell me if this is something that you and your therapist discuss, is always staying in the present.
You have to. Yes. Yeah, we've discussed it. You have to, and that's one thing that, I struggled with as well, because in my career, I've always, I never really, and I've had some really good successes in my life, but I never stayed in the present enough to enjoy them, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I accomplished that. This is great. I'm happy for myself. Okay, now I'm moving to the next thing. Now I got to accomplish this. Now I got to. No, you have to, give yourself time to enjoy those moments and celebrate your wins. I wouldn't celebrate my wins. Or I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm happy for myself. Yay, yay." Okay, so now what's the next thing? And no, you have to, like, celebrate your wins. Go out with some friends. You know, yeah, celebrate them. You have to make a big deal out of it. Um, and there's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back and sending kudos to yourself, and bragging on yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. So that you have to stay in the present and celebrate those wins.
How do you incorporate mental health awareness into your art?
Um, well, a lot of the things I do is I have to plan, because and with the planning, I come up with a schedule that keeps me, like, on track. Because if I feel like I'm not, one thing that I've noticed about myself, if I feel like that plan is running behind, then I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting ready to get stressed out. So what I do is I have a schedule. I have my, and that keeps me on track. I already know, okay, from 10 to 12, this is what I'm going to be doing. From 12 to 1, I'm taking a lunch. Because, see, I would work through lunches too, you know. But you have to have that time for yourself. And so from 12 to 1, I'm going to take a lunch. And then I'm going to come back from 2 to 4, and I will have these things done. And also not try to do everything at one time. You space everything out, that way you don't burn yourself out. And so that's one of the things that helps my mental health, because I stay on track and stay with the plan. Even if I'm like, oh, you know what, if I stay here like 3 more hours or 2 more hours, I can get this done. And then I'm like, nope, stick with the plan. If once that day is done, I'm done at 4 o'clock. I've worked 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever. Now it's time for me to go home and recharge. The next day I'll be better. I'll have the energy back, and then I'm able to go ahead and do it again. So that helps.
So, what role do you believe art can play in mental health and healing?
It it can play a huge part, honestly, because it opens up your creative mind. Um, Even with um, studying, like with kids, even with people being focused. If you have like clutter everywhere, like if your office is not, like neat and organized, a lot of times, people tend to not be as focused as they should. That's actually a study that I actually read about. And most people, they are more successful when they declutter, and even in homes, you have to declutter and add a little bit of flavor, a little color, to your walls at the same time, because that will just add some vibrance. When you walk into your home, it will add a sense of vibrance to your home. It'll wake you, like, just say if you're having a rough day, and when you see that wall, that Terry has created for you, you're like, oh my God.
That's your therapy.
Yes, yes.
Have you collaborated with any mental health organizations or initiatives?
And in my last job, I've collaborated with a couple of organizations, to just help, people, even with like, just say, because my last job was a staffing, I was a staffing manager, so we would have to seek out, candidates and everything, and hire people. And a lot of times, I would partner with organizations like Second Chance organizations, and um, 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 mental health organizations, and just talk to them, and let them know, because a lot of times, especially Second Chance people, and I hated that when you come out of prison or jail and you've done your time, you still got that felony or something like that on your record. A lot of times it's hard for people to find jobs, and so I would work with them and just help motivate them and lift their spirits up, because these people have been they've been defeated, and they want to do right, and they've been defeated because they can't even find a job. So now what I do is, that was something that I used to do, like I said, in the past. But now what I do is every year, like towards the end of the year, I'll get like maybe two people that like maybe people who suffer with either mental illness, or maybe people singles, moms with, and they're the single family households, that kind of thing. And I would give them a wall, and it would be like um, their present, their Christmas present, especially if they have like, a few kids, because a lot of times that will allow creativity to come out for those kids,
That's
so
such a that's a wonderful thing to do. It really is.
Mhm.
What are some common misconceptions about mental health that you encounter?
People think that, when you tell people, not all people, but people thinking that you crazy if you go on and see a counselor or a therapist. Oh, you must be crazy. No, no, you're actually, helping better yourself. And it could be, and yeah, mental health, a therapist that you can do that. You can do a life coach. There's so many things you can do. Um, because even with my business, I want to see a life coach because they're able to help me navigate, and different things and not doing too much here, but maybe you want to focus on those kind of things over here. And, so they help. They really, really honestly help.
I'm going to tell you, after this COVID situation, when COVID was really, really bad, because COVID never left, but
Hmm.
it has
Hmm.
not been as bad as it was in 2020 as it is rising now at this point.
Hmm.
And when we had that little break in between, and they were talking about people having breakdowns, and they were blaming it on COVID, right? Well, I understood, being sheltered and so forth, that that could have done a lot of damage to a lot of people. Well, I'll say that that is the time that I decided as well. Nothing was wrong with me, but I actually went to seek out a therapist. And I had some therapy sessions that actually I learned a whole lot of things that I didn't know, a whole lot of things. But I will tell you, it also helped me to continue to keep myself focused and organized.
Yes. Yes.
So that stigma, you're right, that's got to go. If you just want to just go do it, just go do it.
Yep.
Because believe me, it does a whole lot. Because that's even after that, I was doing mindfulness classes as well.
Hmm.
So learning to do that yoga and that meditation and everything, all of that comes into play when it comes to your mental health, and it really helps out a whole lot.
Yep. It really does because a lot of things, it's kind of like I had a whole lot of aha moments, when I started therapy. And it'll be things, some things it'll be kind of just simple, and you're like, well, you can, instead of doing this, just do this like this. And you're like, wow. And those little things, if you could just tweak it, and do, instead of doing it like this, just tweak it a little bit and do it like that. And it will eliminate so much more stress. It'll just eliminate stress. In my mind, I had to learn how to slow my mind down because my mind will go. It will continue. It will just, I'm thinking about stuff happened in the past, thinking about stuff that I got to do now, thinking about stuff in the future. Stuff ain't even here yet. I'm thinking about that 2 years from now, and not just thinking about it, stressing out about it. This ain't even happened yet. This is 2 years from now. What are you but that's how my mind works. That's how, and so I had to learn how to, slow myself down. And as you said earlier, live in the present. It's okay to prepare for your future, but at the same time, you cherish those present moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, how do you take care of your own mental health while managing a demanding career?
I take care of my mental health because, I set time frames for myself. I don't work like when I'm doing decorative painting. I don't do 8 hours. I don't do 10 hours. I don't, nope. I'm gonna do 6 hours. I'm taking a break, because it can be so physical. Um, and I don't want people to think that it's just a daunting thing because it's not. It's just that I love what I do, but it can be physical. You're thinking about like the equipment that you have to use, or when you're doing something high, they call it high work, where you're working on the ceiling. You're doing a ceiling project and you're working, and so your body is, and think about, you're doing that for, 30 minutes or, 45 minutes, at a time doing this, your arms are going to get tired, your back, it's gonna get, it's gonna start hurting, and you have to rest. You have to make yourself rest. And I had to make myself rest. That's why I put time frames on everything. And my mind is still going over here saying, I know you're getting out at 4, but if you stay till 6:30, you know, you can go ahead on and knock this part out. And that way, I'm telling you, that mind is something. It's something else. And you have to tell that mind, no, stopping at 4 o'clock. I will pick up this tomorrow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, also for all y'all that's listening, I want to tell y'all that 3 years from now, three, Terry is going to paint my ceiling like the 16th chapel. He's going to paint my ceiling just like that.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for
I'm
it.
telling you.
You let
Uh,
me know, and
yeah,
I will be there. Hopefully, by that time, I have my team. So my team and I'll be right there. We will be right there.
yes, sir. Can you share a story where your work positively impacted someone's mental health?
Um, I would say, let's see. So I remember I do paintings as well. So like canvases, high end canvases. And so I did this young lady. I did a couple of canvases for this young lady, and she couldn't do it. She wanted a wall, but she couldn't. She had an apartment, so she couldn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Something fell. She had an apartment, so she couldn't get anything permanent on the walls. So I did some canvases for her, and she wanted something, upscale, classy, something zen, something, And so I pulled out my metallic paint. I did some what's called glass beads, where they look like diamonds and everything. I did that for her, and she told me, because she had a couple kids, and I actually added some color in it as well. And so when I did that, she told me that now, when she, since she got those paintings up or whatever, her kids, they love those. They'll just sit there and just watch them, because it's so colorful and everything. And so now they are like really into the like the creative thing, where they like to color, and they're even trying to mimic, the actual canvases or whatever that I have. They're trying to color them and mimic them. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm, that's interesting. So, what are some ways the community can better support mental health initiatives?
um I would say, if you hadn't tried um, a counselor or therapist, get you one, especially if you have a job. They offer it on your insurance. You can, it's a lot of programs. The copays are not expensive at all. Try it, and be open to it. Also, when people we tend to, and I don't know if other ethnicities does this, but I know, and with people of color, we will talk to our friends, you know that that's probably living the same as you, or got the same, struggles, the same problem as you, and you really expect them to give you some
Advice.
advice, and they probably doing worse than you, and then they give, no, don't do, no, you better, you do this, and it's just wrong. You talk to someone that, and what happened. That's why you laugh at Charles, because there's so many people we talk to, friends, like, just say, if I'm married, I'm not going to talk to my single friends
Oh, ooh,
about my marriage problems, because you don't have the tools to help. You've never been in no, you have been married. You don't know what that looks like. So you have to understand, you have to talk to someone who has those skills, to be able to help. So that's what I would suggest to people. Stop talking to your friends that doing worse than you to help with your mental problems, or your issues. Talk to a professional.
How do you seek the relationship between creativity and mental well-being?
You say, how do I what?
How do you see the relationship between creativity and mental well-being?
I say that creativity is right there along with mental, because if you think about creativity calms calms people. It calms people down. Think about like whenever we, I know when a lot of people do this, whenever um I want to just kind of relax a little bit, I'll kind of doodle a little bit, or just kind of, draw some things out on paper, or kind of, a lot of people do that. And it's therapeutic, creativity, it allows your mind to be challenged. It allows your mind to tap into things that you didn't even think about. Creativity is just so, it's just amazing to me, because you can do whatever. Um it's no rule to me. It's no rule with creativity. Whatever your mind is thinking, it can be like music, it can be just anything. Think about the amount of just the genres of music that's out there. One of people, some of the music that I like is like Pharrell, or Missy Elliott. Those, they are different. They're creative. And that comes with just allowing your mind to just be free. And that comes with like the decorative world as well. You're allowing your mind to be free, and don't listen to people. If it's something in your mind, it's okay to bounce ideas off of people sometime, but you do what's in your mind. People are not going to understand your vision a lot of times. You have to put it out there. You don't want people to taint your vision. So with me, when I come up with some creative designs, I don't share that with people. I just come up with them. Now once they're done, I might, share with people or whatever, but I don't want anybody to taint my creativity.
I don't blame you. Before we transition into the final phase of your wonderful journey that you're going on, I want to do a word association game with you.
Oh Lord. Okay.
And I want you to speak of the very first word, the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear these words.
Okay.
Create,
Art.
people,
Fun.
product,
Sale.
sale,
You said sale.
mhm,
Money.
project,
Planning.
texture,
Wall designs.
payment,
Rich.
design,
um Creativity.
paint,
Color.
foundation.
um mm, oh, that's a, let's see, foundation. Stable.
Okay. Now, of those words, and thinking of those things that you have an association with each of those, which of these words are the word that you think most of when it comes to you and your career?
um Definitely. Creativity. The I think I said um stability. I think I did. I say stability.
No, for foundation, you said stability.
Stability. Yeah, I think of that. Creativity, stability. Money, because actually, when that's what I want, that's what I want in my life, and I actually have that, to be stable, to do what I love to do and make money doing what I'm enjoying doing, and I'm able to be creative at the same time.
Okay. So let's transition to the final part of your journey here, which is community work and paying it forward.
Hmm.
Can you tell us what inspired you to start giving back to the community?
Well, the things that inspired me is because, people, a lot of people don't, they'll just take things and get things and they don't give back, and so that's one thing that I do. I believe in paying it forward because I know that blessings will come. I do feel like if you, bless someone, you're going to get it back, you
Yep.
know yeah, you're going to get it back.
Can you describe some of the community projects you've been involved in?
Honestly, the ones that, like I said, community, the ones that I'm doing now, where I'll give back to, um, to people that are in need. I'll either partner with, um, certain organizations because actually, I have a cousin. She does a lot of community work here in Dallas, and so she has a lot of connections with mental health organizations and people that that are struggling, that kind of thing. And so I partner with her on some of those things, and then we will, you know, give back. Like I'll do a wall or even give a piece of art, to someone that's in need, that wants something done. Because who don't want a nice place? Who don't want a nice house? Who don't want pieces that are nice, in their home? And so if I'm able to do that, I know God is going to give me my blessings. He's already blessed me.
Let me ask you this. I'm not your therapist, but when you do all those things, how does that make you feel?
Oh my God, it just makes me feel, really, really good. Feel like I've accomplished something. I feel it. I feel refreshed. I feel revived. I just feel that's a true success. Yeah, I talked about, of course, you want to be stable. You want to get to a point where you're stable and you're making money. But when you're doing that, you do want to give back and bless other people. And it just makes me feel really good just about myself. And it's pretty much like what my business and we stand on that. Where we want to bless other people. And it makes them feel good. It changed their life.
How do you choose which community initiatives to support?
Um, I will. Well, it's I do it in several ways. Sometimes it'll be maybe, people who are dealing with mental health, and then sometimes it might be maybe single family, mothers with just doing it, raising their kids on their own. And like I said, my cousin, she has an organization um, that focuses on a lot of that with people in need. And so I'll even donate my services to her. I would even donate paintings to her, that way she can give to different people or whatever. So I do a mixture. I feel like I shouldn't, stay in one lane and just always do like, okay, people who struggle with mental health, or, people like single family homes, or raising kids by themselves or whatever, single parents. I kind of like mix it up.
So, what impact do you hope to achieve through your community work?
um getting Being able to touch as many people as I can with what I have now. I know once I get bigger and grow, then I'll be able to reach a bigger audience. Of course, right now I can't do that. Um, like like a bigger audience, I can only do maybe 2 to 3 people, a year. But I know that that will change, where I'll be able to do more people as my business expand. Then I will be able to expand and reach a bigger audience. So I want to be able to do that. Hopefully soon, once when my business grow.
Well, you know something? I'm more than sure that your business is going to grow, but I'm definitely looking forward to continue to chart all this progress that you're going to be making because people need to know who Terry Lee is.
Yes. Spread
And
the word.
yes, sir. Can you share a success story from your community involvement?
Um, I would say just oh, you know what? Yes. I remember I worked with this realtor, and this realtor, hold on for a second. Let me turn this off real quick. Okay. So I was working with this realtor, and this realtor has different properties that they have where they um, have underprivileged people living there, occupying them. And so I've donated some of my paintings, and also did a couple of his walls and everything, but pretty much donated some paintings, and some art pieces that I've created to him as well. So that's a good thing. I was really happy about that because I was able to make a difference, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from those paintings, because a lot of the people, they love them. And then I actually gotten several clients, from donating those paintings.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
So, how do you engage others in your efforts to pay it forward?
Um, I I engage others by like for one thing I do, like with referrals, I'll give back. It's like me giving my clients back, a few dollars, it's $200 or whatever. And so just say if they spread the word about me and I get a client from them, then I'll give them, a referral fee of $200. A lot of people don't do that. If, some people's like $200 is kind of steep, a lot of times it'll be $50 or, $100, but I give 200, because I appreciate them um, taking a chance on me. And then when they give me the business, then I want to give back to them. So that's my way of giving back to my clients as well, when they refer me.
Okay. What challenges have you faced in your community work and how have you overcome them?
You know what? In my community work, I have not faced any challenges so far. Knock on wood. But no, I hadn't faced any challenges. Everything has been, it worked fine so far. I hope I don't have any issues in the future. But right now, yeah, I hadn't had any kind of issues.
Okay. Um, how do you balance your professional work with your community commitments?
Um, by having a calendar and prioritizing, because a lot of times with what I do, I can be so busy, but and then I have alarms set. I have things set to make sure that I'm there, because when I'm doing things in a community, you want to show up, you know, um, and not just for me, I have a business, I have a brand, and I don't want all those things to get tainted because I got sidetracked or I went over, on a job, and oh, I forgot about this, this organization, this meeting that I needed to attend. So, that's what I do.
Um, what what advice would you give to someone looking to get involved in their community?
There's different local organizations everywhere, that you can, let's say, let's see who I work with. Well, local organization, Boys and Girls Club, just different things like that. It's so many, and not just in the state. Look for the small mom and pop, organizations within your area. There's so many, like even within the city. Not just because I'm in Dallas, but they have some in the city. Like um, little small little organizations in each city or whatever, each pocket of the city, and you can do those things or whatever, and just volunteer. Volunteering is huge for me. I love volunteering and giving back, and then it's a networking. It's a way you network as well, and meet new people.
What are your future plans for continuing your work in the community?
Oh, just continue just expanding on like I said earlier. If once I grow, the once I grow bigger, that it'll be a bigger platform for me to be able to give back. So like I said, I can only do so much right now with giving back, but once I grow, then I can give back more and more and more. So that's my future plans.
Well, so in closing, that was our last question. But I want to know if you've got anything you'd like to leave our audience with, including how to follow you, how to connect with you, where they can find you. That's your social medias and so forth. Do you have any of that you'd like to leave?
Yes, you can follow me on all social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at T Lee House of Walls and Design. And it's T, just the letter T, Lee, House of Walls and Design. And follow me. And once you follow me, then you make sure that you comment and like my post. And if you have any questions about anything, any designs that you might like, please make sure that you DM me. You can DM me, send me a message, and I'll answer any questions that you have.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Mr. Lee for giving us some of his time, where he just went through an enormous amount of things of not only explaining his illustrious career, but also what he does to give back to the community and the importance of mental health. Because it's very, very important that not just you as an individual, but those that you might know need to stay as strong mentally as possible. And so let's just give that same love to each and every one of us, and let's make this do what it does. So, for those of you that are watching on the YouTube channel, I would appreciate it if you would hit the subscriptions button as well as the notifications button. Because if you don't want to watch a show immediately, you'll always be able to go back and watch them. You can watch all the shows live. And I would appreciate it if I could get your support, because as we build all these communities around the country that we're serving and that we're doing this purpose for, you can be a part of that. And we definitely would love to have you be a part of this journey. Thank you again, Mr. Lee,
Thank you.
for your time, and thank each and every individual that was out there watching. We will see you guys next week, and you all have an excellent